guys, minions, and welcome to unMadeGaming. We are here. We are back for another one of our Patreon campaign episodes. This is our Patreon campaign called The Rise. We are running Monty Cook's Cypher system. We are playing in the setting Gods of the Fall, and we are playing our campaign The Rise. Yeah, I think most people, as we have discussed just moments ago in the green room, are in Sad Town. So, if you guys like what we do here and you want to help us do more of these things, you want to support the channel, the best way to do that is over on Patreon, like these fine folks. Join us over there. I implore you, head over to the Patreon. Join us at the free tier. There's a free tier. Right now, on the free tier, we are doing recaps of my home games. We are going to be doing recaps of Season 1 and Season 2 of Mundus Novus, one of our other campaigns. And we are also doing recaps of our private, non-streamed game called Between the Wasteland and Sky. So check that out. Those are all at the free tier. There's all kinds of other cool shit at the higher paid tiers. So go check that out. While you're down there, clicking on that link, click on the Discord link. Join us in the Discord. Be a part of the community. Be a part of the conversation. And as always, in the bottom right-hand corner, that bar is the corruption bar. That bar serves two purposes. One is when that bar fills, I unleash corruption, like having that weird guy wake up at the end of last session. And two, every single dollar that goes into that bar goes back to the channel for all kinds of things like editors, artwork, new equipment, my mortgage, just the fun basics. With that, I turn things over to me. Previously on The Rise. Something I didn't just write 10 seconds ago. Searching through the ruins of Dawnsfall for their own in their own versions of mourning, Mina left a message for survivors while Korax found the town's record. Making their way to Tanabar Holdfast, Korax, still holding the Heart of Gloom, found himself incapable of waiting in the queue, instead forcing his way into the city proper. I think that's a nice way of putting that. Moving after him, Antares, Seydlitz, and Mina tried to smooth over Korax's outburst before finding him inside the nearest tavern. And that is where we start. We start with Korax at a bar. I believe the orb is on the flat top. And Korax, are you his tantrum? Are you imbibing a local brew? What are you drinking here at the tavern?
It's whatever is very strong.
Okay, great. We see Korax, and I imagine, here's what I imagine. I imagine very, very, like, Lord of the Ringsian, right? As we see whatever drink is there, and I imagine it was like, just leave the bottle, chief, like one of those moments, right? So you have this like opaque brown liquor or brown bottle here with like an amber liquid inside of it, and we have a glass as Korax is drinking this, and the orb just sort of sits there. I imagine with some sort of like scrap of fabric, so it sits on it, doesn't like roll around, and I feel like Korax is just watching this, and like the shadows of people moving around are sort of playing off of the very clear like almost like a viewing orb, so to speak. Anyone moves, you sort of see a shadow move across that. So that's where we see Korax, and we see Mina in his own version of the Sads, currently doing his best to make his young way around to the various tables of hardened delvers who are coming back from a very dangerous place to enjoy what few hours of free time they have with what alcohol they can afford before delving back into ancient and deadly ruins. And he's currently bothering them with asking for help finding survivors from a town no one's heard of. And Terry's, I feel like, is just standing there like a disappointed mom.
No. I'm standing there like an unactioned NPC. I'm just like...
Yeah. I imagine it's the occasional hand on hip, look around, hand up,
yeah.
Hand on hip, look around, hand up. Kind of like cardboard Korax.
Yeah.
What are you doing? These boys. What are you doing?
Jesus.
And we
don't know what I'm doing.
And we see Seydlitz outside at the gate, who has just sent a runner looking for or reporting reporting to one of the city's like rulers, essentially, Banakadal. So we will start inside the tavern. And I will start with the person who has the least idea what they're doing. G,
No.
what? So you see Mina is doing his best to, like, find survivors of his town, right? Of the town that he is firmly believes that he caused the destruction of. You see that Corax is full on wallowing. And I feel like despite no roll needed, Antares, despite you wanting to help, despite you having experience pulling yourself up from a volatile depth, I feel like you know that in this moment, there is next to nothing that you can do other than be like, I'm here for you, right? There's nothing you can do to pull them out of whatever individual or collective funk they may be in. So I want to know what you do.
I think she will put a heavy hand on Corax's, like, back, like, pat there, not like a gentle, like, shoulder rub type of thing. Like, she's, like, firm and, like, it's a reminder to the conversation they had earlier outside, or on their travel to the keep, or to the holdfast, sorry, that she is here for him if and when he needs someone. But yeah, like you said, she is not a stranger at all to wallowing. And I'm pretty sure I've used that term several times. So she knows that the group can't really help him. He needs to find his own means of support. So she's going to she'll pat him on the back. She's going to turn around. She's going to yeah, I don't know. I think she's going to just take stock of what Mina's doing. And I think she's just going to I don't want to say not play the room. She's just going to people watch for a little while. Maybe she'll go find a table and go sit somewhere where she could keep an eye on Mina and intervene if, for whatever reason, he needs her help. Yeah. You're muted.
I sure am. Okay, I like that. So you're gonna just assume a watchful stance, right? Like you're gonna babysit the two teens, which makes sense. I've seen them from time to time. They need it.
But she's gonna be doing more cool, like.
Cool, yeah. Mom, got it.
Yeah.
And
edgy mom,
cool
edgy mom.
Mom Terry's the cool.
She tried one of those Tesla cars, those Tesla trucks.
Yeah. God.
I hate it.
Oh man, I can't wait. I can't wait for that. Mom Terry's drives a Tesla truck. Okay, cool.
That's corruption. There you go.
That's the corruption part. Just want a picture of G just outside with a Tesla truck being like,
oh God.
Someone photoshopped that. Mina. Mina, you are asking around for survivors of Dawnsfall, right? If anyone has seen survivors of Dawnsfall, right?
Yep.
Okay. My question for you is, how are you asking? Do you seem very eager? Do you seem incredibly sad? Do you seem out of your depth? Like, how would people perceive Mina in his asking?
I mean, Mina is always the coolest when it comes to talking to other people. So he's just sidling up to people and probably when there's not a break in the conversation, just piping in saying, anyone seen those survivors from Dawnsfall?
I absolutely love that is happening to you. Fuck. Yeah, he is quite cool. You're right. He is. It's a well-known fact that Mina is one of, if not the coolest.
Yeah. He could have been the god of cool, but protection was was cooler.
Throw shade into that, right?
Yeah. If you say you're cool, you're not cool, so he chose something else.
As only the cool would know. Um, speaking of, what about those survivors, huh? Yeah, you heard about Pluto? So you are asking the majority of people at best sort of give you a funny look, and most of the time you're getting no's. At worst, people are objectively offended by your existence in their conversation, and more than one time you have been shoved off of a table or like away from a table. Nothing like bar fight starting, but like definitely enough to make Antares like stand up and be like, no, he did that himself, and then sit back down and be like, oh, nope, I saw that. That was all on him. That was all on him. He's the instigator here.
Antares has probably started a drinking game for whenever he gets pushed, she has a drink.
Yeah.
No, she doesn't want Mina getting pushed around. He's a soft boy.
And Terry's is drunk. One of the times.
Yeah.
Just shit-faced. Korax. My favorite person to pick on. You sit by and what I imagine, I said Lord of the Ringsian earlier, and I want you to picture the barroom scene at the Prancing Pony, the Inn of the Prancing Pony, when everything sort of mutes as, you know, Frodo is looking at Aragorn and you can hear the sizzle of the pipe smoke and everything sort of goes muted, and then he hears Baggins. I know Baggins. And then everything sort of, so you're in that kind of moment as you have this liquor, you have this orb, and for whatever reason you are just staring at this black, like opalescent orb, and you can see, like, if you look, you know the shadow you're seeing is Mina sort of moving through the crowd. Every once in a while you see someone stand up, but all you can see is this ominous black reflection, almost like shadows of people. There's not enough to make out color. So all you see are shapes and blurs sort of moving together. And as you stare into this, there's almost a hypnotic effect as you see these like waves of motion sort of start to move back, move up, move down, and you can hear the din of conversation, the clink of glass, the clank of plates, and everything sort of plays into that almost fugue state where all of the noise sort of just becomes this background hush, and you focus solely on this orb. And you watch as, you know, somebody in real time moves in a way that covers up a one of the lit lanterns on the walls, and when they move past it, you see the orange sort of glow at the bottom of the orb, and it almost looks like fire sort of consuming the base of the orb as you are drawn closer and closer into this thing. And you can hear what everyone else would hear as like a shrill, sharp laugh from someone in there, but the way it hits that muted sort of almost underwater is that shrill noise sounds like a scream. And you watch as you see these shadows move in ways that depict people pushing over each other and running away, and you see fire consume the heart of gloom. As you hear a scream cut through, you see people are being trampled over, and you can't help but feel yourself being drawn closer and closer to this orb. And you know that whatever you're seeing is either something that has happened or something that will happen without your intervention. Only you can prevent forest fires. As you watch this, which I now realize is a thing that only is a thing in America, which is we have a bear called Smokey the Bear, which only you can prevent forest fires.
We get TV here, Mike. We
oh,
see
great.
TV
Perfect.
where they talk about Smokey the Bear. Like,
perfect.
You guys have to be told by a bear that not to start a fire.
I think Canada has
normal,
a frog,
right?
so I don't want to hear it.
No, we have Smokey the Bear.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So you know that something is happening that only you can prevent this disastrous outcome of violence and fire and fear and death as you are drawn in closer and closer and closer. And I think Antares, before I give Korax any chance to act, I feel like Antares, in your sweep, your security sweep through the tavern, you hear probably like a grunt as Mina gets pushed a second time, and you see him like sort of bump into someone else, and the other person sort of stands up. And it's enough to like draw your to raise your hackles, as it were, and you glance over to where this commotion is, and you see Korax, elbows on the table, glass in hand, but the glass is like way back where his ear is because he's leaning in further and further, and he is maybe 4 or 5 inches, 10 centimeters away from the from the orb, as he is leaning in here, getting closer and closer to this thing, and you see that his eyes are sort of glazed over. What do you do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when Mina keeps getting shoved around, she would stand up and kind of like head towards him. And I think that in that direction, that's when she passes like closer to Korax. And she glances at him and she's like, "We might need to help Mina." And then she stops and she looks and she like leans in. "Korax, you okay?" And she will like wave her hand in front of his face.
Korax, I will give you the option to have this break whatever is happening to you or not. You tell me.
Ooh, that's tough. Even if it did break it, I don't think it would be for long. It would probably be enough for him to look at Antares before he'd look back.
So and when he looks at her, she goes, "You okay?"
Yeah,
He
I'll say
probably just grunts.
Yeah, I'll say you see him turn, right? But it's like it's enough to like you were paying attention to what's happening to Mina, and you were sort of like give him like a little bit of shoulder, "Hey man, I think we have to step in here." And he turns in a way that draws your full attention. It's not like I'm looking at you. It's very much like a slow turn towards you, and whatever sound he made, and then a slow turn back to the orb. Like that, when you're zoned out completely and someone draws your attention and kind of snaps you out of the zone, that's kind of that slow, almost horror movie turn that he does towards your direction.
Yeah. Okay. So when he turns back, she's she kind of like raises her eyebrows, and she's like, "This is ridiculous." And she reaches over and grabs the orb and picks it up.
You know what? Korax, I'm going to give you complete narrative control here, Chris. Let's see you. Whatever happens, happens.
Korax, as she goes for it, Korax would shoot his hand out and put his hand on top of the orb.
Before her hand gets there?
Mhm.
Okay, so
Sorry,
her
Mike, you
hand
muted.
lands on top of his.
GM intrusion.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Go on then, Mike.
All right, then. Hell yeah. And that is an XP for you, Chris, and you get to give one to whoever you'd like.
Gee, you might need it.
Hell fucking yeah.
You might need it.
Spicy time. Okay. Yeah. Outstanding. You go to reach for it, and I'm sorry, Korax, you reach out and you like clamp her hand down, or you interject your hand under hers?
He reaches out as he sees her going for it, puts his hand on it, and it would basically stop her from grabbing
So my hand's on top of his hand.
So Antares' hand is on top of Korax's hand. Outstanding.
Then she cuts her eyes to him, to his face.
Well, you would if I didn't interrupt you. Cool. I like that I just said GM intrusion and didn't tell you at all what it was, and you were like,
well, I don't
yes.
think you're supposed to.
I am. Usually you can say it's an intrusion for something like this, because I can give you the opportunity to say no and spend an XP.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
yes.
yeah. much like the illusion of giving Chris the choice to not wallow in despair, that GM intrusion was also the illusion of choice. Outstanding. You place your hand on this Korax, and Terry's, you were already in motion, so you place your hand down, feeling what you would what your eyes tell you would be the warmth of his hand, and instead you feel cold. His hands are cold. Not like ice cold, but like far colder than they should be for the weather, the room, and someone who just walked several miles today. He should be giving off a bit more heat. And you cut your eyes to him, and what you see is Korax looking directly into your eye holes. Like boring a hole into your face. Yeah. And there is no, there's almost that like, this is a very specific reference. It's like in anime when someone loses control of their body and their pupil sort of just fades into the rest of the color of their eye. So there's no like there's a complete lack of humanity in his eye. It just sort of fades. The colors sort of meld together from pupil to color. Almost as if like there's no one home in this situation. But in a way that you look at him, you don't expect to like match eyes with him directly, and now you cannot look away as you are staring into Korax's eyes, and you feel cold run up your spine, like a chill, but not a chill of like a draft or a wind opened. It's the chill you feel when something is bad. It's the chill you get when someone sends you a "we need to talk" text. Or a missed call from someone who never calls you, right? It's that something bad is happening, about to happen, or has happened, and there's nothing I can do about it. You feel that run up your spine. You feel the cold sort of emanating almost off of his hand, and you see this dead eyes looking back at you. And you hear a scream in the back of your mind. And Korax and Antares, you both see darkness. You see darkness. You can feel rough earth beneath your feet. You can smell. It's not the dank smell of a cave. It's not the wet smell. It's the dry smell of hot earth, like the dry smell of a day-old fire. Seeped into the ground. Like the ground is hot where you are. You can hear the cracking of stone around you. You can feel heat sort of coming up from beneath you. And you can see all around you what was once a tavern is now blackened, cracked stone. And you see in a massive radius around you, the two of you stand touching the same way, hand over hand, a obsidian pedestal, atop which is a voluminous mass of something soft, and it almost sort of emanates this warm red light. And sitting atop this thing is a very small, maybe the size of a grape, a cherry, perhaps, a seed. And you can feel heat sort of rising up from this. And whatever is happening, you know that it is intrinsically tied to this. And if only you could reach it, perhaps you could save everything. If only you could make this seed blossom into whatever it should be, perhaps you can save whatever it is that is wrong in the Afterworld. But for whatever reason, this fills you with dread. And Terry's, I toss the question to you. How do you break this fugue-like state?
Let me answer that with a headbutt. Crack! Right into Korax's face.
Hell yeah. Korax, you tumble out. Yeah, you tumble out of your chair, cup goes wide, smashes against the wall. The liquid pours down your arm. In doing so, you sort of catch the bottle that was also on the table with you. That rolls off. And you sort of topple backwards and I think in like a panic, you sort of grab onto whoever's next to you, yanking some other guy down with you. The orb does not move despite your hand having been on it directly. It stays there as if it weighs a ton. And Thurs, you see this almost in slow motion as he's sort of falling and just sort of wildly grabbing at things. And the rush of sound and noise, what the fuck, happens. Like it draws you back to this thing as you see the other three people, two men and a very large muscular woman, stands up at the table, looking down at Korax covered in sort of booze. The other guy, broken wooden flagon smashed beside him, covered in ale, and you standing above them, as if you started this altercation, Antares. All of them look between you and Korax, and Mina, whatever conversation you are recovering from, you see that apparently from this quick, head turn, Antares and Korax have started a bar fight with each other, is what it looks like. What are the three of you doing?
Well, that's what I do, so I'll let someone else respond.
I think Mina would immediately be taken aback, and he would be looking around the room trying to assess if anyone else is taking the opportunity to start a fight, because he's seen bar fights before, and there's always someone around that's not involved in the altercation that takes the opportunity to start the fight anyway.
I like that idea. Yeah, and I don't think it's like you see someone get up and you can tell like they lick their lips and they're ready to go for a fight, right? But you get the sense that this is not any sort of malicious, like they're not like, fuck that guy in particular, I'm gonna kick his ass, like, or like I want to steal his shit. Like, you get the sense that this guy kind of like nods his head in a way that's like, yup, this is exactly what I needed to let off steam. And he absolutely like goes towards where Antares and Korax are, and in doing so shoves someone else completely unrelated to what's happening to see if he can get a full-on brawl happening. Because, the only thing better than drinking away a hard day is punching it out. And so that's exactly his mentality as he's trying to start. That's the Antares school right there. So yeah, he's absolutely trying to instigate a brawl here to blow off some steam, and in his mind, allow everyone else to blow off necessary steam. But you see him shove someone else and start heading towards your companions and the table that has stood up around them.
Yeah, Mina takes that opportunity to go up to that guy and sort of like rest a hand on his shoulder, knowing full well that the blow's coming as soon as he does it.
Perfect. Korax, what are you doing?
Is Korax surprised to be back where he is? Or is everything normal?
Yeah, I think it's exactly, you saw the same thing that Antares saw, right? So you saw that whole thing, and the next thing you know, your head and face hurts, and you're on the floor, right? The last thing you remember was being at the bar, then you saw something weird, and now you're on your ass, and your head and face hurts. So I imagine, yes, you would be surprised.
And he doesn't know that it was Antares' fault.
Yeah. I'll say
Okay,
yes.
perfect.
You do not know that. You do not know that it is Antares' fault.
He's going to obviously hit the ground because he was falling. Yep. He would be falling backwards off of his stool.
Yeah. That's true. That's how gravity works. I agree.
When he does hit, he's not going to stop himself because he can't.
Yeah.
The timing. He's going to try and regain his senses and then get back up and towards the bar.
Outstanding. All right, cool. So I'm not trying to have a full-on bar fight here, but we are going to narrate.
Okay.
You go to like scramble towards the bar, right? And I'll say, and anyone can jump in when this happens, right? You try to like grab the stool and like pull yourself up. The other guy on the ground with you is like trying to grab at you, and you see someone who was like next to him, sort of reaching over him and punching towards you. So, and you see that coming towards you, and Terry's, you see that coming over here. And at the same time, we see Mina sort of like place a hand on a guy's shoulder and start to mutter like a, hey man, that's not the right thing. And that guy just haymakers around, like full, almost pirouette punch to try to swing over his own shoulder to hit you. Whether it does, Mina, that's entirely on you. But Korax and Antares, you see someone swinging for Korax's face. What do you all do?
Unless Antares does anything, Korax is not the type of guy who gets into bar fights, so he would assume it's not for him and get punched in the face.
You mean Korax has never been punched before? That's so weird. I've heard
Oh
him
no,
talk to people.
he's definitely been punched, but he's not in bar fights.
Oh, right.
Yeah, after so Antares delivers the headbutt right to like the bridge of his nose, and he goes sprawling, and as he's sprawling, her head like shoots to the orb, and then she grabs it and picks it up. And then that guy is gonna come in and go to punch Korax. She just takes 2 big steps and freaking Sparta kicks him right in the gut.
I am gonna send you something. That is perfect.
Check my orb G.
Here we are.
Just
G,
it's affecting you, okay?
G, sorry, Chris.
Yeah.
You don't need to worry about that. G, go ahead and here you go. You can see that now. That's what you have in your possession. Oh shit, that's the wrong one. Damn it.
No.
That's Korax's. Hold on. That's the other one. Oh, you can already see it. So, yes. The Heart of Gloom. Yeah,
I'm not reading all that.
You have that in your possession. Just go down to effect. Effect. You can turn that on. That is yours now. It's in your possession.
I read it. You can always give it back, G.
Yes. I'm not compelled to activate it or anything.
You are not.
Okay.
But you can as Chris has interjected into this game with the Heart of Gloom, you are not compelled, but you can do it instinctively, and accidentally.
Yeah. Well, Antares might be a recovering former bar brawler, you know. So I don't think it's instinctual. It's not she's not looking to cause any harm here unless anyone tries to harm her friends, right?
Okay.
And that's the mentality of her grabbing the orb, is that she saw Korax apparently getting like fucked up by this thing somehow. Like the eye thing, that's not normal to her.
That's true. It's not.
So,
it's not.
Yeah. So
you grab this and you Sparta kick the guy that's going to punch Korax. I absolutely love that. Mina, what are you doing?
Mina takes the punch and just, in movie style where a punch gets landed and it tosses your head to the side, and then he just looks back at the guy and grins, and he activates his ability Fury, and he punches the guy back.
Hell yeah. How remind us all how Fury works.
So Fury gives him +2 damage, and with his no need for weapons, a punch from Mina does 6 points of damage.
Yeah. So you basically like do that whole like you turn back and like lick the blood coming out of your face and just punch him directly in the sternum, and you hear a Wilhelm scream as he like knocks over a chair, and you think you might have heard something crack, right? And the last thing we'll do here is we'll have Antares go ahead and make me an intelligence defense check, difficulty 6.
Can I argue for speed?
You cannot.
Fuck you, G.
Those aren't
What?
even. What was the argument going to be?
That I'm very fast.
I'm faster than the speed of thought.
Yeah,
No,
I'm on the ball. Okay.
that's the problem.
Why is Chris cursing me here? I'm not I'm not potentially destroying the item, am I?
Who knows?
Oh, do I have anything to help me here?
Man, guys, when I said the beginning of this is going to be narratively yours, I didn't expect a bar fight. It's not in my notes anywhere. Just so we're clear.
I don't have anything that can help me here.
I'm just happy
know.
Seydlitz is not present.
I know. Seydlitz just having a good time waiting in line.
It cuts to Seydlitz, he's like whistling.
No, he's standing. He's inside the gate. He's just standing, waiting for the runner to come back,
Yep.
wondering why all the guards are running around in a frenzy.
I have to spend effort, or else I'm not even gonna be able to make the roll. No. Oh. Saw that coming.
Cool. Speaking of Seydlitz,
It's
we
technically
cut
possible.
outside
I
to
have,
Seydlitz.
we're not with the 21.
6 is an 18.
18? Oh, fuck. Well, whatever. I know math.
7 is a 21.
Yes.
Cool. We cut to Seydlitz outside. We'll come back to you later, Antares. We'll find out what happened. So we cut to Seydlitz outside. You see the runner you had sent a mere few minutes ago, sort of running back to you at full tilt, and he arrives to you, and there's a second where he like bends over, and see.
Take your time, son. Catch your breath.
The Whitecaps said that they can have an audience. You can have an audience. You and your friends can have an audience, and she'll see all of you. She said she'll see you and your companions. They'll the Whitecaps will convene an audience for you. If you would. They can make time now in their busy schedule. They have now or a week from today. And if you would like to collect your companions, I can escort you there now. Oh.
Well, now's the best time for us. Unfortunately, I can't wait a week.
Okay. That's what I assumed. If you want to... I don't know where your friends went. The one...
That's the issue, is I don't know either.
Well, you are the god of the hunt, so tracking should not be a problem for you. So if you'd like to roll me we'll say a difficulty 4 roll for, I think it's either going to be intellect or speed. I'll let you decide on hunting.
Right, and do you have their sense, boy?
He looks up to you and like does that like smile pant where like his mouth kind of goes wide and it looks to you as if the affirmative.
Can I just use Raiden to find them?
Oh wait, he doesn't look up to you at all. Because I forgot he's
in the
inside your shadow.
I get the mental image.
Yeah, so you say that to no one, and the panting human looks at you and goes, well, "That was fucking weird." And then you, out of your shadow, leaps this dire wolf and just appears next to you. To which the other guy like stumbles back and like hits the wall and slides down a little bit out of pure shock. Oh. And you see Raiden look to you, and then almost like a pointer, he locks into a position and is facing towards the tavern. And he quickly looks back to you before like plodding over to it.
All right, let's go.
Okay. As the two of you walk over, you see 3 guards, or you see someone walk out of the tavern, or not walk out of the tavern, but like lean out of the tavern and call for guards. And you see 2 guards sort of run over towards the tavern, and you can hear just a raucous lot of noise happening in there. As 2 guards sort of rush into this building. What are you doing, Seydlitz, as you see this?
Just a deep sigh because he has the feeling he knows exactly what happened.
That's so weird. I can't
You
imagine.
have no idea what happened. It's a mystery.
My friends are in that tavern. Guards are coming. It's not like, unfortunately, Antarius wasn't here, but it's not like the other demigods didn't meet in a bar fight. So, yeah. So you head that way as you see guards. You see guards run in towards this, and you hear like the door open. Lots of noise is happening, and we will cut back inside. Seydlitz, you can arrive whenever you deem narratively necessary. So Antares, Sparta kicks a dude, Mina punches a guy across the room, and I feel like we just see Corax accept that he's gonna be struck in the face and just go, and the hit just never comes, right? The anticipation was worse than the actual hit. As Antares Sparta kicks this guy, and Antares, I'm gonna mark down a failure here on my little notepad. So that's gonna.
Well, Corax will see, I'll say, like, because that guy was like literally like lunging at him, right? And then Antares has the orb in her hand, and she like steps forward and boots this guy right in the gut, right? So she's standing pretty close to him, and I'm imagining she's holding it in her left hand, so it's the hand closest to Corax. That's how I'm imagining it.
Okay. What do Corax? Yeah, we'll say you because you're on the ground. What do you do?
Corax was getting up at that time. He stumbles to his feet, gets to the bar and looks back, sees the orb in Antares' hand. As much as Chris would like him to snatch that, that's not what Corax would do. He's going to grab the nearest bottle, turn around, and smash that on someone's head.
I thought you were going to say Antares' head, and I was like, oh, shit! Oh, shit!
Taking a turn.
I was like, oh, shit!
That's when Seydlitz walks in.
Seydlitz would walk in as soon as the dude he smashes the bottle head hits the floor.
Perfect. Yeah, so
Corax...
go ahead.
Sorry, Corax also uses one of his abilities during this. It just helps, gives them defense, and also if anyone attacks them, they take damage.
Great. Absolutely. So we see this like shimmer. Anyone who's paying close enough attention would see like a shimmer cascade over Corax, this blue sort of light, as he just completely bottles someone in the head. You see the slow motion, hits the table, bounces off the table, hits the ground. Seydlitz, you walk in, and there are fists and bottles. You see that the barkeep is like trying to pull people off. You see that the guards have like batons and they're trying to like shove people away as they're trying to get into this. And you see that Mina is still full in like power punch. And you see a guy that is clearly like knocked things like a Super Saiyan punch where like the ground moves. So like there's definitely like tables and chairs that moved out of the path of Mina, where this guy is clearly like trying to get up. And you see Corax bottle someone over the head, the bottle smashes, and you see that Antares is still reeling forward from a kick to the chest on someone. Your friends are in the middle of a bar brawl, and it seems as though they have forgotten that they are demigods punching down on regular-ass people as they are sending people around the room as they're just Hercules in a bar fight, just fucking punching regulars. And
We're
you
not
walk
representing
in.
the gods here, okay?
Yeah.
Seydlitz instructs Raiden to let out his howl to intimidate everybody into stopping. And when that happens, he's going to yell, "What in the name of the dead gods of the Afterworld is going on here?" And his nimbus is going to flare.
Absolutely. So you all hear this like shrill, kind of like duotone, like that ominous sort of like enough to like make you wince, right? This shrill howl that immediately draws everyone's attention in a kind of a fear sort of way, and everyone like you see like that that almost like cartoon style, like someone has someone by the neck and there's like a full-on punch and they're looking over at the wolf. Someone else is kicking someone's in the middle of falling down, and everyone just turns to the wolf howling in the doorway as we see this nimbus flare above Seydlitz's head, and everyone sort of the noise just immediately drops down, and we see that the three people that are the most upright are Antares, Corax, and Mina. And you hear Seydlitz's voice boom over the crowd, and what the hell's going on here?
And Terry's uses this chance to attack. No, I'm just kidding.
Roundhouse.
Yeah.
Well, Corax is going to sucker punch someone at that point.
Absolutely.
Right, and get
Legit.
him.
Just like in the solar plexus. It's a retch as you hit him. Right in the jejunum. Yeah, so you hit somebody in like up under the ribs. They immediately fall over, are grabbing their waist, and you see like pushing things out of the way, not moving quickly, but you see Raiden just sort of like knocking things aside as he like moves the 20 or so feet across the bar to you, and you see him like just grab onto your cloak and just start pulling you towards Seydlitz.
It Terry's, Mina, you
Corax just
better
looks
not
cross.
have started this.
No, that someone pushed me. Someone hit me, pushed me off the bar.
I don't care.
It's not my fault. And he carries on. He walks with Raiden towards the door.
I don't care whose fault it is. You're demigods, for Christ's sake.
And Terry's
Oh,
puts the orb in her.
that makes
in
us
her
better than
bag.
people?
You should definitely be acting better.
Wait a fucking second. Wait a second. I just want to circle back to last episode where Korak said, I'm a fucking demigod. I don't wait in lines. I'm better than regular people.
And Seydlitz said he's not. So apparently now he's got to be better than people.
Oh,
You have
shit.
to you have to behave better.
Yeah, and Terry's puts the orb in her bag, like in her satchel,
Mm-hmm.
and she glances back to Mina and like motions to the door.
Yeah, I think Mina's just full on panting, angry panting, and he probably looks over his shoulder and there's a guy there that's stopped with a chair and was about to hit him, and Mina just raises an eyebrow as if tempting him before seeing Antares motion, and he just gets a half smile and just heads towards the door.
I think there's that moment where he's like, he was about to hit you when like the howl went off, and like you make eye contact with the guy, and there's a moment where he's like, I can knock this guy out. Like you see it, and he's like, I want to hit this guy with the chair so fucking bad. And then you like look at him and then just leave, and he just like slowly puts the chair down as he rethinks his life choices.
I imagine Mina going, huh, and the guy's like,
Yeah.
ah.
As and Terry's, you join as well.
Yeah, she doesn't say anything. She just like gets Mina, eyes Mina, and starts walking out.
So the four of you exit the tavern.
Seydlitz is walking out last, and he's
Yeah.
looking at the barkeep with a kind of a mouthing of who started it.
Okay. Yeah, you did break up the fight, so he is more inclined to. He looks to you and he nods, indicating the last person to walk out being Antares.
Shakes his head, and with a kind of a sarcastic slow clap, and then turns around and walks out.
You hear like there's still like noise in there of like the guards sort of like straightening things out, and having been here before, that like if you stick around outside, the guards are going to come out and question you, for sure. So if you don't want to be questioned, the faster you leave the scene of the crime, the less likely you are to be questioned.
Seydlitz
Yeah.
is going to look to the runner. Is like, all right, lead the way. And he's going to tell Raiden to go back into the shadow.
You see him walk forward and just sort of like dip down, like front paws first, and you see the runner look to you, and he like it takes him a second, and he's like, yes, this way, please. Sorry, follow me. And the four of you head off. The four of you head off towards the Whitecaps, like territory, more or less. Cool. So you guys head off to the I think it's the secondary keep. They have a large guild house in the center of Tanabar, like the dead center. So he leads you through this kind of like, it's not exactly like a circular city like Samora was. It is definitely like a round square. And you are I think I described it last time as being like this, like a squarish version of the city in Attack on Titan, where it's like walls within walls. So you are led towards the heart of the city, through winding streets, through like, you see market stalls, you see buildings, you see armorers, you see like skill crafters and like, spelunking gear and people hawking minor things that have been found inside the ruins. As you are led towards the center of the city, where you see this massive guild house. You see that it is. It's not like resplendent, but it's not like opulent, right? But you can definitely tell that the Whitecaps are probably like the premier like Delvers Guild. Like everyone wants to be a member of the Whitecaps, but like to get there is difficult. They have had the most success in delving. And also from Seydlitz, what you know about Banakadal is that she is not obsessed with, but like she is the biggest push for like delve. Let's go find out everything. Some people are like, I'm good here. We shouldn't go past floor 3. Some people are like, we should stop entirely. But she is always like, let's go down. Let's see what's down there. Let's go. Keep going. Constantly pushing towards the further expansion of the deeps. Yeah, so you are brought to this large guild hall, this guild house. You see in the center, as you walk in, there are tile floors. There are statues. They're not like biblical figures or anything like that. They are statues of regular looking people, and you see plaques under their names, and these are all delvers. These are all delvers of significant, either significant finds or tragic deaths or something of that kind, significant to the Whitecaps. They all have their name, their deed, and if they are dead, which you can see most of them are, it will have their date of death. And you see that on one side there is essentially like almost like a bank where it has like wrought iron, like a desk with like wrought iron openings in front of it, like it's all caged in, where people are there exchanging things they have found in the digs. And you are led through the center where there is a carpeted area that leads up to a set of stairs that leads up to the second, third, and fourth floor of this guild house. And the four of you are led up to the top floor. Now, as you are walking from the bar to this place, through the city, and up to this top floor, is there anything that you guys would be communicating to each other?
So why did you two start a bar fight?
It's not what it seems.
I literally asked the bartender, and he pointed directly at you and Terry's.
Yes, and it's not what it seems.
Some guy hit me.
I don't care if it's not what it seems. The events cascaded.
So it'd be like normal people's.
It would have happened
like
eventually. It seemed like everyone was itching for a fight, and then she's going to reach into her pocket again, and she's going to pull out the orb and like hold it up for the guys to see. And then she's going to look right at Korax.
Korax doesn't stop. He just mumbles like dumb shit and just keeps walking.
He doesn't look? Okay. Like we're still
Yoink.
walking.
Seydlitz yoinks it from her.
Okay. You only failed once, Antares, so I'm going to give you a choice. Do you let him, or do you resist?
She would resist.
Great. Both of you can roll me a difficulty 6 might. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Seydlitz, you can roll me a difficulty 6 might to pull it out of her hand. And Terry's, you can either use might to hold it there or speed to move it away from him.
I will do that. I will try and hold on.
Seydlitz isn't going to challenge her on it. He's not trying with effort to take it.
Okay.
Okay, so if he goes to reach for it, and like she will pull it back.
Okay.
This thing is this thing is bad news, I think. Correct.
And if it's bad news, why do you have it if you took it from him?
Because it was affecting him. Corax.
And who's to say it won't affect you?
Well, it ain't right now, at least. But it was definitely affecting him. That's why I tried to take it from him. Corax, stop. And then she's gonna...
Just try to sit in a bar, have a drink, and then people hit me.
Yeah, I don't know if you were aware of it, but you were, like, zoned in on this thing. Like...
Yeah, I saw like a vision.
You weren't you, okay? And then I tried to take it. He stopped me. I saw something really fucked up. And I want to know if you saw it too.
With the room, with the pedestal and the thing on top?
Yeah. You know, and the seeping feeling of dread. That's not normal.
No, but shit's not normal.
Shit's not normal? What kind of explanation is that? Mike, was the feeling of dread involved in this seed-like thing? Do we know, would we know of it as a seed, or is it just something that looks...
Let me see if I understand your question. You don't know what it looks like a seed. I mean, seeds look mostly the same, right?
Yeah, but would Antares call it a seed?
A seed or a nut, or it was brown and seed-like. So actually, shit.
Because you said it was sitting in like a glowing mass of warm red light.
You don't have sun. You grew up in a sunless land.
My son. Yes.
You grew up in a sunless land. I don't know that you would call it a seed. The only things that grow in Corso are mushrooms, and there is farmland with the Bowery lights, but that's relatively far away.
She might not be completely ignorant of it.
Yeah, but I don't think that seed would be the first thing that jumped to your mind. Stone or nut would be my best guess.
Yeah, that's small. Okay, my main question is the feeling of dread centered on the seed or on the environment?
No.
Okay. So like we have to find the feeling was that we have to find the seed to fix the afterworld.
Yeah, it was
feeling of dread.
Is if only you could make this thing grow or bloom or do whatever it's supposed to do, then maybe you could fix whatever's wrong. And for whatever reason, that whole idea fills you with dread.
Fixing the afterworld fills me with dread.
Yep.
Okay, that's weird.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, so like what, that's just the way things are, seeping feelings of dread. And she'll glance at Mina and say, and she'll explain what the orb showed her. The seed and the glowing red light. If we find the seed, basically what Mike just said. Did you see the same thing I did?
Yeah, and that's the only reason I'm following you people is because I want to get somewhere that I can write this down. Because I don't want to forget what we saw. It seemed far too important.
Well, I don't think I'm going to forget that, and you're the god of knowledge, so I don't think you're going to forget it either.
Well, the information gets lost all the time.
Well, we're going to the Whitecaps headquarters, so you'll find a place to write something down. I just want you to ask the promise you not to start any fights while we're there. This is kind of
mean,
important meeting
I
for
had to
us.
knock us out of this fugue state that we were in.
How many
And
fights
Korax
have
was
you
right
seen me
there,
in?
so I headbutted him.
If you want to get rid of
What?
it so bad, then trade it to the Whitecaps for another artifact. They'll happily take it off your hands.
Why would you hit me?
Because we were locked in a state.
I didn't
Your
have
and
any
your face-
issues.
And your face was right there.
Yeah, my face is always where it is. It
Yeah,
doesn't move.
It was really close to mine, so
It's very punchable.
Ah, supposed to be. Korax just turns around, supposed to be normal. We do normal things, and he's wonderful.
you just muted yourself.
I know.
No, but yeah. He literally just mumbles that and then just walks off.
So yeah, she'll keep walking after him and she'll glance at Seydlitz. So I wasn't trying to start a bar fight, but I headbutted him to knock us out of this dream vision that we were having, and then the tension of all the people started it. I don't know how he got involved, and she thumbs to Mina.
Those people only respect strength.
Yeah, that's true.
He shouts back, "It did feel good to punch some people."
Told you, but you won't let me teach you.
Didn't need to be taught. I just got punched in the face for no reason.
No, I headbutted you. Totally different set of skills. So yeah, I think I'm gonna hold on to this orb for now. Unless you can be trusted not to sit there and go off into La La Land again.
Korax just shakes his head. He doesn't answer.
Mina just says, be careful with that. Rhea lost her control of her powers because of that orb.
And she looks back at Mina. Good point. This thing is clearly dangerous. And she's going to... She is like in her satchel. It's like a cloth satchel. She's going to take the satchel off with the thing inside, and she's going to like kind of wrap the satchel around it and then put it in another bag.
Okay. So you try to make as many barriers as you can.
Actually, no, she is going to do that, but then she's going to hand it back to Korax.
Go ahead and make me a difficulty 7 intellect defense.
I was going to say might check? Okay.
No.
7.
Adorable.
Okay, so
Could
now
she
I
argue
have...
for a speed check?
She can't.
Because I want to be spaz. It's like a hot potato. I'm like, take it.
Yep.
Okay. All right, I have to spend. So now I have to spend effort.
Now it is a 21, yes.
Yes. Failed. Hold up.
You wrap this up in a cloth, and then you put it in a satchel, and then you're holding it, and you have like, I imagine you have like, as you're walking, right? You have your bag open, and you're like, the orb is wrapped in the satchel. You're holding the satchel, and the orb is like in the mouth of the bag. And there's a moment where you are thinking about giving it to Korax, and then you put it in the bag.
I love this for you.
I hate this for me.
You guys want to pick up cursed artifacts. You didn't want to take my Lash of Woe in episode 3, G, so now, 40 episodes later, you get wrecked with the Orb of Sadness.
Sad Terry's is back.
The four of you are led up through, grand staircases, around, walkways and platforms. And you see there are libraries here. There are, facilities here for like armorers. There's smiths. There are researchers here. This is an entire operation bent towards the one goal of determining what is happening in the deeps. What is it for? What are the artifacts? What were they originally for? What are they for now? How do we profit off these things? How do we find more? And as you are, you guys kind of see this in a blur as you are brought up to the top of this area, and you are brought to a large room, almost like what we would imagine in like a game of like, this is where like the king sits. And you only there's like no guards or anything like that. And you see this person that's been leading you head over and like on the door. And two people inside open the door, and the guy looks to you and says, the audience that you guys requested with the white caps. Is there anything else that I can do to assist? And he just sort of looks to Seydlitz.
Keep an eye on them.
Aren't we coming in with you?
Based on your track record, no.
Well, we could have just stayed at the bar.
Corax finally sides with Antares. Why am I here if I... Doesn't matter. Corax just turns and sits down somewhere. He pulls out a notebook and he starts writing and drawing.
Mina, you can come if you want.
Okay.
Fine,
Sure.
whatever. A waste of time anyway. And she's gonna go and sit down. With a thump.
With a thump. Okay, cool.
Harumph.
Solid harumph. All right, you, Christ. I like back to the wall, slide down. As Seydlitz and Mina head inside, and Corax is writing in a book, and the guy who asked if anyone needed anything else looks around, and after not getting an answer, he just like, okay, and nods to you guys, and then leaves.
As
Okay.
he's walking, coffee?
Oh, I don't work. I don't work here.
Thanks. I take it black. Corax?
Corax looks at them. You did say anything.
Yeah.
I was asking
Johnny?
the guy in charge.
That's me.
It's the guy with the wolf, the magic wolf.
Correct. No.
I'll ask around. I don't work here. I'm not a guild. I'm not a delver. I am the gate.
Well, how
I'm
about
a
you-
gate guard.
How about you go find someone who does know coffee and get them to bring us some, please?
I will pass the message along.
Add a snack, thanks.
I
Thanks.
will pass the message along.
What's your name?
What are your names?
Antares, the god of redemption.
Uh-huh.
Corax, the god of knowledge.
Right.
And
you
he
see him
brings up his nimbus.
You see him pull out a little notebook and write down Corax as he puts it back there.
2
and he's-
R's.
Thank you. He puts a second R in there. Coffee. And he like nods as he starts walking down the stairs. Absolutely not answering your question. And the two of you sit there, and I imagine it's like in the hallway, like you're on opposite sides, and like Corax is writing in his little book, and like the only thing that's in the room when he looks up is just Antares, and the same thing, Antares is like grumbling about whatever, and the only thing in the room that she looks up is Corax. The two things that are making each other angrier. And we cut inside the room. To where we see Seydlitz and Mina are walking into again, not resplendent and opulent, but definitely like there is some money and intentionality with this room. It is designed to be a room that is important, right? We see 3 people sitting Last Supper style along a table, waiting for an audience that you have requested. We see Banaka Dal, who sits there, and I think Seydlitz, I think you would know. You would know who Banaka is for sure. We already discussed that. Do you think that you would know the other 2 leaders of the guild?
You gave me the names of some of the principals, but I'm not positive on that.
Okay, then do me a favor. Go ahead and roll me. We'll call it a difficulty 4 for you. Difficulty 4 intelligence roll to see if, like, in your knowledge of the Whitecaps, if you know who the leaders are.
Let's see. Can I apply anything to this? The dice are rolling bad today, I see.
The dice are not with you. Okay, so you see sat in the center is who you know to be Banaka Doll. And she sits there. She has a large, like, fuck. Like Kentucky Derby, but minus any of the fashion style white hat. It's just this large hat. And you see that not like Ezio style, like the side cape, but it does cover the side and wraps around. So it's mostly like it's like a 3/4 cape. So it starts here and sort of wraps around to the other side, but does not cover the other arm of a brilliantly white cape. As she is sat there, her clothing is more of like is more like clothing. Like imagine like a business suit kind of thing, but apply a little bit of fantasy to it. So it's definitely not someone who's delving into the caves. She's not dirty at all. She looks very presentable, as if she's now a principal, and from what you understand is she has not been delving in recent years. So she has sort of taken up the face of the guild and of the city. To her left, you see a bibliomancer, someone who meets Korex's frame. He wears very fine sapphire-colored robes, and you see that in one hand, like rested on the arm of his chair, he holds a golden staff. And long black hair sort of cascades down his shoulders, and you can see like white wisps at the temples, sort of Doctor Stranging it up. And then to her right, you see a large, almost like Terran large woman wearing full, like shining white armor. You see like the pauldrons, the breastplate, everything is white down to the greaves. And you see that she too has a white hat, but it is a bit more of like, what are they called? Like a Peter Pan or a Robin Hood, that style of like hat where it's sort of like cupped up on the sides and sort of peaked back towards the other side, towards the back. It's sort of fit low over her head. And the three of them just sort of sit there. There's a slight nod as they acknowledge your existence, and they beckon you forward towards their table. There are no seats on the opposite side, so it is kind of like a you stand, they sit situation. And as they beckon you forward, you see Banaka lean forward with her forearms on the table, and she says, "I was told you requested an audience. I was also told that you and your companions have been shouting that you are gods." It's interesting because as far as I'm aware, they are all dead, and we are sort of sifting through the ashes of their demise. So, who are you?
Seydlitz is going to take a step forward and put his arms behind his back, kind of parade rest style. Mm-hmm. And he's going to put out his right arm, bow a little bit to her. "Madame, I am General Seydlitz of Samora. And behind me is General Han."
"And how can the humble Whitecaps assist the great city of Samora? After, of course, we have taken a great many of your refugees and almost as quickly returned them to whence they came. How else can we assist your plighted city?"
"Well, we appreciate you taking in our refugees, and we apologize for what happened. Unfortunately, war does not allow us to make those decisions."
Well, I am... glad to hear that you are on the winning side of it.
Thank you. As for why I'm here before you today, this is more of a request of mine to the city of Samora, and I was coming to the Whitecaps and seeking of a guide. We are embarking on an expedition into the deeps here within a week's time.
Are you applying for membership to the Whitecaps? Is that
No,
what
ma'am.
you're asking?
We are just requesting a Whitecap guide to take us down as far as the Third. We have some privy information from a former Whitecap member that we wish to explore.
Interesting. All knowledge belonging to any and all current and deceased members, deceased, retired, etc., members of the Whitecaps is proprietary knowledge of the Whitecap Delvers Guild. So, how, may I ask, did you come by this information?
You may know him as the former Whitecap known as Regis, ma'am.
There's a puzzled look, and you see her look over to Marvel. Well, you see her look over to the people on her left and right, and you see both, like, all of their brows furrow. Regis died some 10 to 20 years ago.
Seydlitz shakes his head.
He was part of a lost expedition of Whitecaps.
Lost he may have been, but he had returned. Though I do regret to inform he has indeed passed as of a few weeks ago. We got some information from him that we feel is worth following up.
And that information is?
Such information is sensitive. I would rather it be where it's only this is kind of a need to know.
As I had said, all knowledge of the deeps gained while in the employ of the Whitecaps is proprietary knowledge of the Whitecaps. And thus, if you have stumbled upon some sort of hidden knowledge, that is first and foremost a crime on behalf of Regis, and while he can no longer be punished if it is to believe that he is deceased, as you have said, you should be obliged to tell us. We are, in fact, need to know, as it is proprietary information.
That may be well, but I wish to guarantee your cooperation first before I give you such information.
Requesting a guide into the depths, into the deeps, is easily handled on the first floor. It's a matter of paperwork and coin. If you have the coin and the proper paperwork is filled out, we can acquiesce to send you with a guide. There are certain bits of contract that needs to be read by you and your associated parties. There are some assurances that we will need to take, and there is a small fee for anything found, as we will take a 10% cut of any salvage found while being guided by one of our expert guides into the deeps. This all can be accomplished quite easily in a matter of about an hour, or as long as it takes you to read the contracts. So if that's all you need from us, you absolutely have our cooperation.
Such a delve is not meant for salvage.
Every delve is meant for salvage.
Shakes his head. Not this one. I would like to circle back to you mentioning of the Lost Expedition.
Yes.
We have I wish one of the members of the Lost Expedition happened to be my father.
His name?
Bennett.
Ah. So this is a personal vendetta for you.
I wish to find out what happened to him and, if possible, recover his remains.
It's been quite a long time since that team was lost.
Even so, do we know? according to what Regis has told me, I may have found out the reason.
What was
Though
the
this
reason?
is only speculation on our part. Regis, upon my questioning, said that he last saw him in the 5th depth.
Well, that is clearly impossible. No one has reached the 5th deep and lived to tell the tale of it. So, our intel was that everyone in that tragic delve died. If Regis has returned somehow and has hidden, clearly he was mad from whatever he had seen from the depths that he had entered, and had lost what faculties he had remaining to him. I wouldn't believe anything that he had said.
Be it so. We wish to try to proceed to the 3rd depth because we believe there's a possibility of a passageway or corridor from the 3rd to the 5th deep that has yet to be discovered. Besides, General Han here has another reason. Say it's going to turn to Mina.
In our collective 30 years of delving, no one has found such a path leading from the 3rd deep anywhere other than the 4th deep. Perhaps Regis was mistaken in what he saw. Perhaps he found previously undiscovered, perhaps now it is already discovered, an undiscovered passage from the 3rd deep to a previously undiscovered area in the 4th deep, and because he had not seen it before, perhaps he was mistaken. But I assure you, no one has made it to the 5th deep.
Many things are thought impossible until it is done.
General, you had your own motives for this excursion?
Yeah, I think you notice that Mina kind of winces when Seydlitz mentions his name because he was using self-aware.
Mm-hmm.
And you get that kind of feedback where it's in your head and then you actually actively hear your name at the same time. And he kind of, it shakes him out of whatever reverie he was in. And he goes, yeah, I think there was a rescue mission. There's some people trapped down in the depths, and they were asking for my help.
What?
So there was some people in the depths, and they were calling my name, asking for help. We kind of worked out. I think they're on the 3rd depth somewhere, and so they're obviously been down there for a while. Hopefully, they're still all right. I'm listening for them now. But yeah, if we can get down there and I guess rescue them, help them back.
I'm sorry. How exactly are you listening for them now?
Maybe I should clarify, and it'll answer your second question about us saying we are gods. Mina, could you please?
Yes, we're gods.
He's asking you to put your nimbus up.
Oh, okay.
Phelan's face palms is like your nimbus, Mina.
Oh, yeah. And Mina puts his nimbus up.
You see a very nonplussed response from anyone at the table, and Banaka looks over to the man at her. I believe I said her left, and you see him strike his golden staff, and one pops up over his head too. She says, "I understand how artifacts work. I don't understand how you're able to communicate miles below the surface of the world."
But the thing is, you see, he's not carrying any artifacts.
Well, just because I don't see one doesn't mean he doesn't have one. His shield, his spear, his cloak, all of these could be something from the deeps.
No, it's just me. And you know the stories of like in the past when people prayed to gods and the gods could hear them. I think it's like that. When people are praying to me, I can hear them.
she looks over to the other woman, and you see her like lean over and sort of cup her hand, and she whispers something to you, and hold on. This is stupid. She whispers something to the woman next to her, and she says, "What did I say?"
Did Mina hear what she said?
Look in the chat.
Oh. Yeah. You said General Han. Hello.
Well, either you have very good hearing, or at least some of what you are discussing is accurate. As far as a rescue mission, the Whitecaps, we're not opposed to such a feat, but we have not sent any such mission out here. Who would be being rescued?
That is the part we are unsure of. We only know that people have prayed to him, and he hears their voices.
Yeah, I did kind of see around there, and speaking with Corax, he's the guy outside. He seemed to think it correlated to a place called the Steps of the Colossus.
Well, that is an area in the third depths. You are correct.
I guess
I'm sorry, the procedure is still the same. It's a matter of paperwork, monetary compensation, a few signed contracts, and we'll happily issue you a guide if that's what you're trying to do. I feel like there's more that you're not saying in this situation, and I feel like this is should be. Common knowledge, but I'll say it either way. I can only issue a guide for locations that have been discovered. I can't. It's an incredible risk to send them to a previously unexplored area of the deeps. So I'll at least need to know a location.
Therein lies the issue, is we didn't figure out a location of where... Regis did not say anything. He only mentioned the 5th depth and pointed on the fact that their expedition started at the 3rd. So we do not know how they ended up in the 5th depth or where to start. As for going to the Steps of the Colossi, I think that's our first task. But what we're doing now is, as if I have to request anything about a guide, yes, I'm aware of the paperwork. I would also like to inform you we have a large supply train coming in the next few days.
That will alleviate some of the cost. I assume you have hired your own delvers, or you're going to delve by yourselves. That will also...
I am personally going to delve.
That will also alleviate some of the costs. If we are merely to send a guide, an experienced someone to lead the path, that is fairly easy to do. About this 5th depth, though, I think you're chasing a dream.
Isn't that what everyone here's doing?
That's true. Everyone is chasing a dream. I will say
I'm not
this.
sure chasing a dream is an apt description, given the fact I've met the King of Nod.
Well, as that may be, most dream of coin and opulence and being set for life, and that is what the treasures wrought from the deeps can provide you. Now, you all seem to be inexperienced. I will warn you that the deeper you go, the more maddening it becomes, the more dangerous it becomes, the more violent the inhabitants have been known to become. Few people have returned from the 4th deep. The first is, at this point, fairly innocuous. if not annoyingly so, as one of the other principals of the city is trying to manifest a new kingdom there. But the second and third deep are increasingly more difficult to traverse. The fourth, only incredibly experienced teams head down that far, usually only from the Whitecaps. And as I said, the fifth is... no one has returned alive. But if the steps of the Colossi are where you'd like to go, as I said, it's a matter of paperwork, young man, and we'll make that happen for you.
Yeah. Mina just bows deeply.
Marvelous. They have requested an audience, so please push through whatever paperwork they have. Assign them one of yours. We will make sure that they are a well-appointed guide, and make sure our companions come back alive.
Seydlitz produces a big thing of paper that he got from the Queen of Samora and their quartermastery before he left.
Is it just paper?
It's just a big paper of like all the supplies, provisions, personnel count.
Oh, okay.
Whole thing.
You see the man that she was speaking to, who she referred to as Marvelous. He stands and says, "If the two of you and your assorted companions outside would please follow me, I will lead you back down to the first floor, where we will send you through our legal department, and you can fill out all the appropriate contracts, and we will assign you one of my guides. They are the most well-appointed guides here. They are the most knowledgeable about the deeps, regardless of what you may hear from my companions. They will guide you through any treacherous pathways without nary a fight, to find this mysterious rescue group of people. I think they're hidden here, speaking to you with godly powers. Either way, right this way, please." And you see him like standing.
Mike.
Yeah.
Before we leave, Seydlitz is going to mentally speak to Raiden to memorize Benakadal's scent. Seydlitz is going to spend 2 intellect points to mark her as his quarry.
Okay. I like that.
I have trained in all tasks involving following, understanding, interacting with, or fighting that creature.
Okay. That is your quarry. Perfect. Yeah.
But
so
before we leave as well, Mina will just say, on an unrelated note, we're looking for information about any survivors of Dawnfall.
Are you asking just out into the group?
Yeah.
You see the woman next to Banaka sort of lean on the desk, and she turns in a way that you can no longer see her mouth, and it's clear that the two of them are communicating about something. And Banaka looks to you and she says, I apologize. I don't think there are. Did you know anyone from the village? There was a massive a storm. The insanity. I think that's what it's called. It struck. It destroyed the entire village. I personally don't know that anyone made it out alive. There was also some rumor of an incursion of Nefar, but that far north and west is I don't know why or how a sizable amount of Nefar would be ranging that far. East would be ranging that far east, or for what purpose? And there's no evidence that they have marched any further, or really any evidence that they had. We hadn't received a caravan from Dawn's Fall that was expected. We sent out people to look, and the village is a husk. I haven't seen. It's been 6 months. I apologize if you knew anyone.
Mina just goes, Thank you. And he just follows the bibliomancer.
He sort of wafts out of the room, and you guys see the doors throw open as this very well-appointed, flowing sapphire robes, black hair sort of billowing behind him, walks out of the room and doesn't really acknowledge Corax and Antarius, but just walks straight towards the stairwell.
How did it go? Did we get our coffee?
You never got a coffee.
Yeah, she looks like Nancy Liz.
Apparently, there's a lot of paperwork to fill out.
I'll handle all that.
Sweet. If there's contracts to read, maybe Mr. Know-It-All here should take a look.
I'm not good with legal stuff.
I'm talking
Seydlitz
about
looks at
Corax.
Corax, and she has a point. Are you up to it?
He's still sketching and writing. He looks up. What?
We have contracts to sign. Can you read through them to make sure they're not going to screw us in any way?
Sure. I can teach you to read. Just let me know. He packs his stuff away and gets up.
She mumbles something under her breath and she gets up.
I'm going down to the deeps with this.
Savage. Yeah, so the four of you, after a time, follow Marvelous down to the first floor. He leads you to one of the side rooms opposite, like, the caged-in, like trade area. And you see that there are, it's a room full of, like, it's a room full of the worst incarnation of Corax. They're all clerks. So they're all absolutely bibliomancers, but they're like the books they're doing magic out of are law books. So it's like
magical
lawyers for sure. So there is a group of them that are sat there, and there's just like piles, and you see them like they have each one of them has like a small, probably like a palm-sized book, and you see like every once in a while something will like light up in there, like the pages will like glimmer, and they're like moving something, like a stack of paperwork moves. Yeah, it is absolutely law clerks of magical nature. And you see Marvelous sort of walk over and says, these groups of amateur delvers need a standard contract for one of my guides. They will be traveling to the steps of the Colossi to retrieve a group whom they believe to be trapped therein. Standard thing, standard 10% of any treasure found, a standard death clause, last will and testament, etc., etc. I will leave them in your care. Just go ahead and sign it for me. And he nods to them and sort of just waves them off and says, I bid you adieu. This will be pushed through immediately. You should have your contract within the hour. If there's anything else, please do try to figure it out yourself before you call for another audience. But if we reach that point, we are here to help. Whatever insanity you're trying. Good day, the four of you. I hope to see you alive.
And Therese' hand flexes on the hilt of her blade. She didn't know it was sitting there.
Yeah.
Corax walks up to the counter and looks to the clerk. If what we're looking for is not stuff but people, do you guys take 10% of that?
No, normally we don't handle rescue requisitions. It's not uncommon that we may have a guide. That's fairly simple. Usually, if anyone delves inside and they are trapped, the guild itself will send in people, so there's no real need for contracts. If amateurs tend to get themselves trapped, there is a lot of paperwork you need to sign before getting into, well, I apologize. There's a lot of paperwork you need to be filling out to enter the deeps correctly, as we do here in Tanabar Holdfast. If you'd like to try one of the other slummier holdfasts, they'll just let you right in there.
Slummier.
But if you get stuck down there, typically it is your own problem, unless you have someone on the outside with the money or power or pull to get you out of there.
I'm
We
more than
have the
happy
power
to
of the whole city of Samora.
But we don't take 10% of people. That's
Yeah, I just need to make sure that's in the contract, because he said standard contract, and what you've just said is not a standard contract. So we do just need to make sure we're on the same page here.
I think he was referring to the standard guide contract, as in we
okay.
will help you with nothing else but guiding. However, if you do find treasure while being guided by us, we do claim 10% of the value of that treasure.
Okay. But
Yes.
people you guys don't count as treasure. So
correct. Yeah, those are
you
people.
won't take 10%.
We consider them to be resources.
That's fair.
I'll have this done for you in the next, in about an hour, and you can read through it if you'd like. It is pretty dense, but it is all standard, fairly boilerplate. You're welcome to sit here or return in approximately an hour's time. It'll be here either way.
Korax turns and walks to wherever the seat was that they indicated, and he sits there.
What do the other, the remaining three of you do?
Seydlitz is going to wait for Korax to rules lawyer his way through that contract.
Okay, so you're going to wait the hour until the contract's done?
He's also going to keep a small bit of him in focusing on that quarry mark. Seydlitz is hoping to catch Pinocchidal in a one-on-one situation.
Okay, I'll take a note for that. Jesus. And Terry's and Mina, what are you doing?
I think, yeah,
Not a fight, Mike.
after Mr. Marvelous leaves the room, and Terry's is like pacing around, hand resting on the hilt of her sword again. Yeah, she's pacing like she's restless, and she will.
If you two want to leave, you all can go find us an inn for the night.
She will look at Mina and be like,
Yeah, I was thinking maybe we should check in with anyone that's staying here from Samora. Maybe
We're the first people here.
"Fine."
no, there were refugees from before the war.
Refugees before the war?
Oh, they evacuated part of this city, people from the city.
I think she'll motion to Mina to walk with her, and then they'll talk and walk at the same time. How are we gonna find them?
We can ask someone. That's generally how I get information.
You didn't get any information though, and I take it that just by the dripping condescension off that person guy, that the meeting didn't really go very well.
No, I think they were a bit annoyed that we asked for an audience for something that seemed pretty mundane. But yeah, they didn't really believe we're gods either. So
yeah, I'm kind of getting that vibe.
Who cares if they believe us or not?
Well, if they don't believe us, they think we're a fucking joke, and that means their respect for us is a lot lower.
Even if we still hold the ranks of generals, so they have to have some respect for us in that case.
Do they? No, they don't.
Then that's their problem. We don't want to get any more involved with these peoples than we have to.
I completely agree. I'm just trying to get a feeling for the atmosphere here, like get in and get out as fast as we can.
What I want to say is I can't say here in public, so I'll tell you later.
Well, we're talking with
Korax looks up and says, "Can you guys all leave? This is a nice quiet space where people are trying to work."
Yes, if you're
All right.
staying, Seydlitz, we're gonna walk and find a place.
I'll deal with the
Seydlitz hands
contracts.
Korax all the paperwork about like personnel, supplies, and all that stuff.
Jams it in his truck. He says, "I will deal with this. Just
Let's go find an inn.
go."
All right, then the three of us will go
Yeah,
find an.
you can
inn.
easily find an inn. There are many of them in the city.
Yeah.
And we'll say like it's like 2 or 3 blocks away from where you are currently.
Okay, and so she's talking with lower tones because she's not completely socially inept, where she's like blah blah blah, like talking really loudly in weird company. Okay, Seydlitz, what did you want to say?
The reality is, we're gonna ditch the guide once we find what we're looking for. Remember, we're looking for a passageway to the 5th depth from the 3rd.
Well, we don't necessarily have to ditch him, do we? We can just send him on his way. Ditching him makes it sound like we're.
Do you really think a white cap guide who found such a thing would want to not take it the full way? Because he'd be credit with the discovery. It'd be fame
Okay.
and fortune for him or
Okay,
her.
so but what's the problem with him wanting that then? We're not going down there for treasure, right? And she looks at Mina,
We don't
right?
know what's down there.
I don't give a crap what's down there. I'm only going because you two have reasons to be down there.
I mean, if we rescue those people, we'll probably need someone to guide them out. So if we don't want the guide around, we can just ask him to
That
guide
would
those people back
probably
out.
be the best.
Yeah, in theory, if everything goes according to plan,
In
we make
practice,
it to this Colossus place. We find whoever is calling to you. Somehow they knew you were a god. They knew to call to you. The guide, whoever we get, can escort them out, and then we can continue on to find Bennett, or the fate of Bennett.
in practice, the probably is what we're looking for is probably in the steps of the Colossus.
What do you mean?
You know how unlucky we are.
I think we're pretty lucky, actually.
I mean,
Lucky
we're
that
still
getting out of
alive.
our unluck.
We're not. We
Mhm.
can't be that unlucky.
Mm-hmm. But whether or not this guide wants to come with us, I think that's besides the point. We can burn that bridge when we come to it. You know what I mean?
Fair.
And if he wants to get rich off of us, who are we as divine beings to say, no, you cannot? You know?
Only if there was something out there to make it so. The funny thing is, I'm surprised they don't have an artifact over there that's like, oh, disables artifacts. And then the Nimbus still burns.
So they don't, obviously they didn't believe.
They don't
or
believe
no.
us.
Yeah.
Because they have those artifacts that activate Nimbuses that all look bland and basic.
Yeah. Very inconvenient in hindsight having those. Well, I guess the only person whose opinion we really care about on that matter would be our guide. Whomever it is.
I'm sure Corax will negotiate for the best guide they've got.
Let's hope so.
So now that Korax isn't here, what is that thing?
Did Korax tell us what it was? No. Do I have an idea of what it is?
Make me a difficulty 6 intelligence roll.
She intelligence. She looks and then she realizes like she had forgotten about it, and then she realizes she like Bilbo in the Ring, she realizes it's in her bag. Nope.
You don't know anything
Yeah,
about
I'm
it.
just
You know it's a
I'm just
magical
rolling.
artifact.
Really? Yeah, it's a magical artifact. And well, Mina, you touched it. You said it showed you something.
Yeah, it showed me the destruction of Dawnsfall and
And then
the,
yeah.
and then I gave it to Corax because I figured maybe he wanted to see it for himself.
So when you touch it, it shows you something very tragic and depressing.
Yeah. It showed us, well, it showed me, and Korak said it showed him the same thing. Like it destroyed, like the world destroyed, but then there's this thing. It looked like a stone, like the size of a stone, and it was on a pedestal. And whatever it is, I can't explain it. I just know that we have to get that thing, and it will help us. It'll help us fix the afterworld.
Seydlitz puts out his hand. May I?
I don't think it's a good idea.
We
And
already
he-
know.
and
We
she
don't know
shifts
what
the bag
effect
to
that
the
it
other
does,
side.
so it won't bug me as much since I know what the effect is.
You never know.
Get
Am I
ready to-
aware that I'm unable to get rid of it?
Nope, you didn't even notice.
Yeah. So you guys see her switch, like her, like slide her bag onto like her other hip.
Seydlitz just calmly keeps holding out his hand.
She
While
just
you stand there, hand out.
we're walking at the same time. other
Yeah.
than that.
While you're walking there, head out. We cut somewhere else, somewhere subterranean. The stones are green and massive, and we see a woman knelt down beside a group of scared children. She is beautiful woman, black hair, sort of like a side part, cropped hair, a little bit above the shoulders. She is wearing like very well worn in, right? Dark brown leathers. They have seen combat. They have seen wear and tear on the road. She has a brown leather pauldron, and she has a like a dark, very dark, earthy, but also like some of it's like covered in dust and dirt, cloak that sort of hangs down, drapes down one side of her body, and where her chest armor ends, it cascades out into a almost like a split. Like a split skirt, in that like you can see that there is something underneath, but it looks very much like a skirt that ends at like mid shin level, just above her boots. But you can see that they are separated so that like when running, it's not going to be one single unit of fabric. We see her lean down towards a group of children, and we see her say something, but we don't hear what it is. Mina. We have a corruption bar. I'm going to go ahead and send you something. And however you react to what I send you is how we end this episode.
Mina or Norm?
Yes.
Jesus.
Fuck. Mina just goes blank and grabs hold of Antares or Seydlitz, whoever's closest to him, and says, "It's my mum."
And that's the end of the episode.
Son of a bitch! We
welcome.
started a little late. Michael. You keep going.
And we're a little late. We're 10 minutes after 6. We're a little late. I let it went a little long. That is it for episode 42 of the Rise. Sorry, 41 of the Rise. This one was called Hold Fast. And I think it's a fitting name. That is where we wrap.
It sure did, as you usually say.
That is when we wrap up this episode. We come back to find out exactly what happened with the Biblio lawyers. The most important part of today's episode. So let's go around, do our introduction so we can get out of here and talk about this show in our after show. If you guys want access to the after show, join us over on Patreon like all of these fine folks. Join us over at the $5 tier. Get access to this after show and all the other after shows for all the other amazing shows we've been doing for the past several years. Let's start with the crux of the matter. Korax, who are you? Where can we find you, Chris, on the internet, and what are you up to? Everything has been your fault.
No, just most of it. I'm Chris Electro, and you can find me here on unMadeGaming for Atari Twilight Age of Always when we next schedule that, Patreon games, and the Discord. Nowhere else.
Hell yeah. The master of headbutts, G, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet, and what are you up to?
Hi, I'm G, the friendly neighborhood lightning invoker. You can find me find me in all things unMadeGaming for modding for the regular streams and playing in all the Patreon games, the Rise, the one shots, Age of Always with Chris, Mundus Novus with Melissa, and you can find me in the Discord all the time.
Hell yeah. Let's see. Bringing sadness and parental issues wherever they go. Norm, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? What are you up to?
I'm Normal Snow. You can find me in the Rise and the One Shots, and sometimes in the Discord.
Hell yeah. And being the dadlets to G's mom Terry's, Matt, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet, and what are you up to?
I'm Matt or D. You'll find me in my Discord here on the Patreon campaign and in the Patreon one shots.
Hell yeah. That is it from us. Thank you so much for being here. Check us out. This is the July Rise episode. I will not be here for the next few weeks. I'm going away on training, so the next episode will be in August. So it's a bit of a reach for us. But stick around. We have a lot of cool things coming out in the near future that you'll want to be apprised of. And to be most apprised of that, check us out over on Discord. Link in the description down below. While you're down there, joining us there, join us in the Patreon. As I said, get access to the after shows, all kinds of other fun stuff over there. But that is it from us. We will see you guys next time. So from all of us to you, bye-bye.
See you later.